Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel again. And we're going to be discussing Arsenal transfer news. We'll be talking about Gabriel Jesus. We'll talk about Bukayo Saka. And we also talk about the fact that Sagnabry will not be joining Real Madrid. Madrid have distanced themselves from that story, from that transfer. And also Bayern do not want to keep him anymore. They'll be signing in Sadio Mane. Could this be the time for him to come back home? Could he be coming back? Could he be coming back to the Emirates Stadium? Huge questions, huge answers that we are waiting for this summer. We do have a couple of suitors. We do have a couple of competition around Gabriel Jesus, but personal terms have been agreed. A 19K per week contract has been agreed between the player and Arsenal Football Club. So we're going to be discussing all that in this video. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button. Let's get the video to 200 likes. That will actually do me a lot of good. And yeah, I mean, we could start from there, right? So good morning, everybody. Type good morning in the chat. I mean, it's still very early in the morning. Let me know where you're watching in from. Are you watching in from the UK? Are you watching in from Nigeria? Are you watching in from Kenya? Are you watching in from Tanzania? Let me know where you are watching from this early morning. Right, let's get into it. Let's start off with Bukayo Saka. Now, yesterday, a couple of reports did come out, not very reliable reports. And I'm going to say, really, lads, I was not really scared, but a couple of reports did claim that Bukayo Saka was on the radar of Manchester City and Liverpool. And Liverpool, of course, you know, the stories were that Liverpool and City were actually stepping up their interest in signing in Bukayo Saka. Now, Liverpool have already distanced themselves from interest in Bukayo Saka. Now, and Manchester City yesterday as well came out and distanced themselves from any stories, from any rumors linking them with Bukayo Saka. The interest, the story, or you know what we know at the moment is from Fabrizio Romano, claims that Saka is happy at Arsenal. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't have any hopes of leaving, and a deal will be agreed upon his contract extension between him and Arsenal Football Club. So there is no interest from Manchester City in Bukayo Saka, and there is no interest from Liverpool in Bukayo Saka. I think the point here for me, lads, is that the agent of the player probably is trying to push Arsenal out of their comfort zone. You know, Arsenal can always be in that comfort zone. I think they're trying to speed up the deal, or they're trying to make sure that Arsenal pay Bukayo Saka enough money, the money they feel is enough for the deal. But I don't see how Saka is going to leave Arsenal. The players already come out and said, "Look, I want to play for Arsenal. I want to stay here, and I love the club." So I don't see how Saka, who has become a regular in Mikel Arteta's side, a player who has become very important to Mikel Arteta and the setup, I don't see how he leaves Arsenal and then, you know, goes to a Liverpool where he's second choice, goes to a Manchester City where there is no guaranteed football. And also, I don't see Manchester City paying up to 100 million euros for Bukayo Saka. Yes, his contract is running down. Look, he's entering the final 2 years because his contract runs down in 2024. So he's entering the final 2 years of his contract at Arsenal. But then remember, you know, you've got to remember as well that Arsenal have an option to extend his contract by a year. So that would be 3 years. 3 years for a player who has had 2 fantastic seasons at the top level. I think Arsenal would be demanding for 100, 120, 130 million euros. I don't see Liverpool paying that. That is not their business model. Probably for Pep Guardiola and City, look, I could believe it. I mean, they spend the money. They're known for spending the money. 100 million on Grealish, almost 50 million on Raheem Sterling. You know, back in the days, that was a lot of money. 100 on Saka. at the moment, I don't see that happen. Really, I really don't see that happen, especially after Manchester City spending almost 75 million euros on Erling Haaland in a deal that will actually end up costing them over 250 million across a period of 5 years. So, putting all that into consideration, Fabrizio Romano has also said that look, the player wants to stay at Arsenal. He loves the club, he loves the project, and negotiations are underway. They're not at the final stage, but they are underway. There is no doubt Saka will be staying at Arsenal Football Club. But of course, I did ask you a question last week, and I said, if you were Arsenal, would you sell Saka to finance the moves of, probably Skamaka, probably Yuri Tillemans, and Gabriel Jesus? Would you sell Saka to finance, these other, the moves of other players that would eventually come in if he left the club? But in my opinion, and what I know, Saka will not be leaving Arsenal anytime soon. He will commit his future to the club. He's seen as a very important part of the project, and that's why he was given shirt number 7. Liverpool and Manchester City are all distancing themselves from the rumors and from the interest in the player. That is what we can talk about Saka this early morning. Now, the other story comes in from the side of Gabriel Jesus and Manchester City and Arsenal. The story is that Arsenal have agreed a 19k, that is 19,000 per week for Gabriel Jesus. 19,000 per week. Of course, we already have a deal with we already have an agreement with the agents of the player. The player also has an agreement with Manchester City. Of course, Fabrizio Romano did come out yesterday and echoed the same words he actually put out. The player has an agreement with Real Madrid to leave. With Manchester City to leave this summer. However, a couple of clubs have come in, to as potential competition to Arsenal. Real Madrid is the one that is very, very interesting today because they've been closely linked to the player in the last 12 hours. But what I can say about Real Madrid, and this is an article that I've read right today, it says Real Madrid will not be able to sign non-European players. The Spanish passport of Vinicius, Eder Militao, and Rodrigo will not be ready before January 2023, which constitutes of an obstacle for Real Madrid to sign Gabriel Jesus. So I think with Madrid, they're interested in him, and I believe the story. Carlo Ancelotti has already personally loves the player. And he would love to take him at the Santiago Bernabeu. But with Madrid, yes, they are interested. Gabriel Jesus has said he wants to stay in Europe. So he wants to stay in the Premier League. He wants to stay. He wants to be the main man. With Real Madrid, I don't see how he becomes the main man. Of course, they already have Karim Benzema as their number 9. So I don't see how he becomes the main man. Barcelona are interested, but Barca do not have the money to sign him. I mean, with all due respect, Barca do not have the money to sign Gabriel Jesus. So that leaves Arsenal with the highest chances to sign the player. Yes, I've also seen interest from Chelsea. I think I've seen Yoon Stokes Football reacting to that as a Chelsea fan. Chelsea are also interested in Gabriel Jesus, and this is why I think Arsenal have taken a lot of time to seal this deal. I think we are buying more time to seal this deal than more time than we need. Honestly, if you ask me, the Gabriel Jesus deal shouldn't take more than a week to get done. Right? Mundo Deportivo yesterday, but one said that the deal will actually end in 50 million euros. Arsenal playing the waiting game, which we understand they do not want to pay the hefty price. They want to pay. They want to keep on waiting until City reduce the asking price. But the problem there for me, lads, is you have Chelsea who are losing Romelu Lukaku to Inter. He might go back to Inter because there is no point in keeping a player who doesn't want to be around. So if Romelu Lukaku leaves for Inter Milan, we've seen Thomas Tuchel loves that kind of a false nine, and Chelsea are in the UEFA Champions League. So I don't think Arsenal have a lot of time to get picky, to be very very picky, and to wait and wait and see who wants to join us and who doesn't want to join us. The moment you have a player who wants to sign for you, the moment you have a player who is ready to move into the club, you've agreed personal terms. Because today, like I'm reporting, Arsenal have an agreement with Gabriel Jesus for 190k. Actually, it's not 90k, 19k. It is 190k. Sorry for that. My bad. It's 190k a week, right? That is 190,000 per week for Gabriel Jesus. So he's he has agreed a deal. We have an agreement with the agent. The only problem is the money. Now, my scare with this deal, lads, is you have a Chelsea who are waiting around the corner and they are ready to pay almost. They will be ready to pay almost 60 million euros for Gabriel Jesus, because for them it's going to be a bargain. If they lose Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan for probably what? I don't know how much they can get in that. I don't think Inter is going to give them a lot of money, but they could give them like 50 million euros. And then they get that 50 million and get themselves a striker. Yes, it will be a loss in Romelu Lukaku, but they have nothing to do about it. So if Chelsea come in this deal, it's going to be a very difficult one for Arsenal to do. It's going to be a very, very difficult deal for Arsenal to do. Very difficult. Chelsea have Champions League. They have the money, as we know, and they can easily offer Gabriel Jesus 250k per week. The wages that Romelu Lukaku has been scheduled to get at Chelsea, they could as well just give it. They could as well just give those wages to Gabriel Jesus. So I think Arsenal are wasting time in this one, and if we fail to get Gabriel Jesus, for me, that will be. We will have bottled it. Honestly, there is no question there. We will have bottled it. So 190k on salaries is agreed. Agreement is already in place. We are still waiting for an agreement between the two clubs. What I know, or what I can say is that Arsenal and Manchester City have had initial contacts, but there is no agreement. Actually, a couple of sources say there is no bid from Arsenal to Manchester City. There is no bid. So City are still waiting for the initial bid from Arsenal, and Arsenal are still waiting for Manchester City to reduce their price. That is where we are at the moment. Now, the other player is Serge Gnabry. We've been linked with Serge Gnabry, of course, on a couple of occasions. There is no big development ever since we last spoke on the 1st of January or June. There is no big development around Serge Gnabry. The huge question with Serge Gnabry is he going to stay at Bayern or is he going to go? That is the question. Is he staying? Is he going to go? Bayern is saying if Sadio Mane signs, they've had a bid turned down by Liverpool. Their initial bid was turned down by Liverpool. They wanted to sign Sadio Mane for around 25 million euros, but the bid was actually turned down. So if they can get that bid, if they can get their bid allowed, if they can get their bid accepted by Liverpool for Sadio Mane, they are more than ready to let Serge Gnabry leave. They will let Serge Gnabry leave the Allianz Arena if Sadio Mane arrives. Madrid are linked with Serge Gnabry, but Madrid are reportedly not in position to sign Serge Gnabry after agreeing a 100 million deal for Aurelien Chouameni. So Chouameni moving to Real Madrid means Madrid will be spending 100 million. It is highly unlikely that they will actually sign Serge Gnabry for 35 million euros. So Madrid again in this deal are out of it for me. Technically, Madrid are out of it. So Madrid being out of this deal leaves Arsenal, Liverpool, and a couple of other clubs like PSG as the only clubs interested in Serge Gnabry. However, there is nothing developing around there. I think with Serge Gnabry, is still the question is still where is he gonna go? That is the question. And for me, with Serge Gnabry, it's always going to be can Real Madrid, can Bayern sort out the Sadio Mane situation as soon as possible? If they can do that, if they can sort out the Sadio Mane situation as soon as possible, then we can see, we can see, um, we can easily know where Serge Gnabry is gonna go. But if they cannot sort it out as quickly, as fast as possible, then we cannot know where Serge Gnabry is gonna go. But look, Serge Gnabry and Gabriel Jesus, that would be a hell of a summer. That would be a massive, massive summer for Arsenal. First and foremost, you have Serge Gnabry, who is only 26, and you have Gabriel Jesus who is only 25. So two players in their prime. That is what Arsenal are looking for this summer. We've talked about it. Arsenal looking for players that can add that, that much quality, first and foremost. When players that can add a lot of quality, but also players that have matured enough, not in their 20s, right? Not 20, not 21, not 22. For me, not even 23. I think the average age of players we should be going for this summer is 24, right? 24, 25, 26, even 27, right? And I think we've done that well. If you look at the likes of, Skamaka, actually, I was looking at a report. Actually, it was an excerpt from an interview from an Italian agent who was saying that Arsenal submitted an initial offer for Gianluca Scamacca. Scamacca is 23, 24. Yuri Telemann is 24, 25. And then you have Serge Gnabry, who is 26. And also you have Gabriel Jesus, who is 25. So the average age of these players is actually interesting. That is what we are looking for. I've seen reports claiming that Stan Kroenke has given Arsenal more than just 50 million to deal with the striker or to deal with the forward recruitment alone. So in terms of bringing forwards, Arsenal have more than 50 million. And for me, it should be like 100. It should be 100. After losing Lacazette, and after losing Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we should be spending more than 100 million. Because Lacazette, 50 million. Aubameyang, 60 million. So we cannot, I don't think, look, it's not about like for like. It shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be about like for like. But if you're going to spend 45 million on Gabriel Jesus, we should be able to spend around another 40 million or 45 million on probably Scamacca. Scamacca is a very, very good player because he brings in a very different kind of dimension to what Arsenal do not get in Gabriel Jesus. And we'll talk about Scamacca probably today or tomorrow. And I'll show you why Arsenal are really in a very, very, good position to sign Scamacca, and why I think he's a very, very good player. It's not my priority, but I love him. I really, really love him. So with Serge Gnabry, lads, like I've been saying, with Serge Gnabry, it's all about can Bayern decide whether they are going to let him go early enough, right? And where does the player also want to be? If he wants to go to Arsenal, as I think Arsenal can pay the 35 million euros. if he wants to go to Madrid, and Madrid can pay the money, then it's going to be that easy. So we still wait to see what is going to happen with Serge Gnabry. But like I said, Saka will stay. Serge Gnabry, Madrid are not in position. Arsenal, leading that race as well. And then we are leading the rest for Gabriel Jesus. But the key question is, can Arsenal pay the money before the likes of Chelsea come in with competition? That is the key question around them. Good morning, Cossy. Good morning, Derek. Hope you're doing well. Ceci says, please, Cossy, update me about the first done deal for Arsenal. I'm going to do the all done deal show. It will be coming up very, very soon. Cossy, according to our past business dealing, I think Jesus deal from Man City is a game to keep the fans wait, to keep the fans follow them. But I think it is not a real deal. David from Gulu. Thank you so much, David. Patrick says we just have to pay whatever City want for Gabriel. Okay. It's 90k. It's 190k. It's not 19. Thank you so much. It's 190k. It's 190k. Okay, it's 190k. Right. We need to get 5 players only: Jesus, Bissouma, Gnabry, Tielemans, and Helic. Okay, that's according to Shakira. And then Wycliffe says, how far is the is the mid issues? Now, look, I think with the midfield, we have identified the targets. We have identified our targets in midfield, but I don't think there are deals that are really going to happen as soon as possible. Yuri Tielemans is the key target for Arsenal in the midfield. I've seen a story around Bissouma, but every summer Bissouma is linked with Arsenal. Honestly, every summer Yves Bissouma is linked with Arsenal Football Club. So I might not as well take that very, very seriously. Every summer there is a story around Bissouma to Arsenal, but I think the key target is Yuri Tielemans for Arsenal in midfield. Tielemans is the key target. Can Arsenal get that deal done as quickly as possible? Probably yes, probably no. But I think we'll try to get Yuri Tielemans as soon as possible. If we will, if we can be able to do a deal around Yves Bissouma, it would be very, very interesting as well. So that is the morning update, lads. I'll be back in the afternoon and also in the evening with more of the Arsenal update. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 200 likes, and I'll speak to you later.